On this level, you just use a I would kind of recommend a partial power shot just so that it spends less time bouncing. But if you use a kind of partial power shot, aim for the wall, and hopefully it'll land and not bounce too high. If you use too much power, you risk having it, spend too much time bouncing up and down. You want it to bounce less, because you want it to have less time to get back down to this line where it can light things on fire. So I would recommend just a very light partial power shot. That was done in a little bit less than 1.5 seconds, which is perfectly fine. Um, this one, you want to use a partial power shot, aiming a little bit to the right side of the torch down there. Um, what you want it to do is minimize the amount of time it spends in the air, because that's totally wasteful. You want it to bounce down, then come back up, and then drop down into that pit. If you use too much power, it will potentially go in the pit, but it'll likely need to bounce off this middle pillar here first, which is a huge time sink. So in this case, it's optimal to actually use a partial power shot, just a very light drop down at a slight angle um, at the torch down here. Our time for 32 was 2.894 seconds, which is a good time. On to level 33. For this one, you need to hit the blue flame and hit the torch with one shot, suicide, and then throw the next blue fireball into this area. But the kind of shot you want to do here, you want to aim the fireball kind of very lightly, just barely drag it upwards, somewhere around here. You just kind of want to very light up into the left motion, like hardly any power at all. Um, you want it to fall down, hit the blue flame, and then hit the torch. If you try to, do a straight power shot at either one, you're gonna bounce out and go somewhere else. You can't do a full power shot and get both of these at the same time. You have to do a very light shot up and to the left um, to hit the flame and then rebound into the torch. Then you suicide and then use the next ball that you get to aim straight down to this hole. Our time for 33 was a little bit under 6 seconds, which is reasonable. So on to 34. For this level, you want to use your first shot to aim it down at full power at the purple fireball there, and you want it to bounce up and hit that left torch, and immediately suicide after you do that, and then use your second ball. You want to kind of pull down also full power, but you want to pull your cursor down roughly in this area. A lot of shots around here tend to rebound up into the little area with the two torches. You want it to rebound off this pillar down here, and then to go up through this hole to hit those two torches there to the right. Um, Again, you don't have to pull down all the way, just kind of into this area here. You know, kind of aiming at the middle or so of the pillar. Our time for level 34 was 2.641, which is a decent time. 35. For this one, you want to use a very light shot aimed at the wood kind of above this torch. And what you want it to do is bounce the fireball off this wall, the left wall, and have it land roughly in the middle of the right box. It'll take a bit of experimenting to get the shot right because it's a little bit weird because some shots are horribly overpowered and some don't even make it over. So just experiment with, just pulling down a little bit until you get something that works. What you don't want it to do is hit the right wall, because that's going to waste time and it's going to screw up the timing of your next shot. And so after you hit, rebound off the wall and hit the right crate, suicide, and then use your second shot, you can actually afford to aim the next shot because it won't, hurt your time at all because the wood will be burning away. You want to aim it very lightly at the left torch, very partial power, and you want to fire it just as the wood is burning away, um, once there's an opening. But you might want to wait a little bit after it opens so that you have some room to, get out. So wait for the wood to burn away a little bit and then um, fire the fireball, and hopefully it will bounce out and land on the right torch just as the wood burns away there. That's why it's important not to initially hit this right wall when you're rebounding, to keep the timing correct. I'm going to aim roughly around here. Wait for the wood to burn away a bit. Go ahead and fire. I could have done that one actually a little bit faster, but it should be okay. We would check the time. It's around a little bit over 10.5 seconds, which is actually perfectly fine, I think. You don't want to be any more than 11, I would say. So for level 36, the fastest shot is to do a full power shot down at this torch, um, hopefully hitting the right corner of this pillar here and having it bounce off to hit the other two torches. But this shot's really hard to make and it takes quite a while. And so an easier approach might be to do a partial power shot, um, sort of into this torch like so. And what it'll do is it'll bounce off the middle pillar there at the bottom, um, bounce up and hit this torch, and then fall down to hit the final torch. It's not as fast, but it's not incredibly slow either. So we have 2.6 seconds, which is fine. 37. You want to do this in 2 shots. You need to have a full power shot down at the lower torch through the green fireball, and you want to aim as far left as you possibly can because you need to not only hit the fireball and the torch, but you need to bounce up off the left side of this pillar to hit this torch up here. And then you suicide, and then immediately fire your second shot down at this second pillar here from the right. Perfect. All right, level 7, or sorry, level 37. A little bit less than 4 seconds. Almost there. For this level, you might get a slow time depending on how fast your computer is because all these crates need to burn away and they're not frame based apparently. And so for this level, you want to do a partial shot that doesn't really even touch the crates. You just kind of want to have the line end right around here. Um, you want it to hit the torch here on the right, and then you want the fireball to land in this pit area and get stuck in the far left area where it will eventually drop through to the final torch. If you overpower your shot, the fireball will just bounce out of this area, so you really need to make sure that you watch how much power you're putting into it. If you put too little, it won't make it, but if you put too much, it's just going to go everywhere. So if you have to err on the side of not putting enough power into it, just very light shot. It just needs to barely graze over here and bounce around a bit and maybe fall into the pit. That's all it needs to do. And it goes into the pit. And we're good. Now we just wait for the level to end.